On October 28, 1965, shimmering in the morning sunlight, a great American monument stood nearly complete. All that remained was to put the final piece in place. It was an occasion not to be missed, and yet Luther Ely Smith and Eero Saarinen were not here this day. Neither man had lived to see this moment. The morning sun was heating the south leg and distorting it out of alignment. So the St. Louis Fire Department used 700 feet of hose to cascade cooling water down the leg. Hydraulic jacks exerting tremendous pressure, 300 tons of it, carefully forced the legs of the arch apart to make way for the final section. This was the moment of truth. Failure now would mean disaster.
The two legs were about 2.5 or 3 feet apart, and we had to jack them apart so that an 8-foot section could be placed in there.
It was the only way with the weight of the 280-ton derricks on top of it. It just had so much pressure on it that it was the only way you could get the last section in.
We had to be very careful that we didn't buckle it by pushing it in the wrong direction or having to push it too far. That complicated the situation.
While helicopters buzzed the arch, snapping pictures of this historic occasion, the Park Service's supervising engineer was also circling the arch, not looking for a photo op, but for signs of buckling, ready at any moment to call a halt to the process.
When we put that last pin in there and had it locked in, I think everybody breathed a sigh of relief. You don't like to be 630 feet in the air with a hydraulic jack.
The controversial technique worked. The distance between the legs had been widened from 2.5 feet to 8 feet. Ready now for the final piece. In a moment of perfect patriotism, Boy Scouts attached an American flag to the final section of the arch just before it started its journey. The trip took 13 minutes, a precious few moments to reflect on what had been accomplished.
Well, I think it represented, in a sense, the last out of a ball game.
It was just amazing to look at, and it all fit. A lot of sweat and blood went into it.
We just didn't realize that so many people from all over the world would be so amazed by its beauty when it was done.
The piece of the arch that put it together was the final part of us grunting and struggling to make the arch go together.
Those of us who were in management, we had an opportunity to say, this is the way we have to do it. But the real heroes are the guys that welded it up, and the ones who were the riggers, the ones who were up there and getting their fingers pinched and sweating. Those are the people that built it.
Those men were celebrated this day, as were the others who had come before them: Jefferson, Lewis and Clark, and the common men, women, and children who first set out from St. Louis into the vast western frontier. Luther Ely Smith recognized their unsung spirit, and Eero Saarinen gave it vision. In many ways, the arch is a reflection of America itself, its past, present, and future. It stands on the banks of the Mississippi as a tribute to the collective dreams that made America what it is and what it will always be. A place where anything is possible, where people are allowed to dream, and the bigger the dream, the better.